The war between humans and the Zerathi Empire had raged for nearly 30 years. The Zerathi were a towering insectoid species, their empire stretching across half the known galaxy. Humanity, comparatively young and scattered, had been forced into the conflict after refusing to surrender mining colonies on the edges of Orion's arm. For decades, fleets clashed in the void. Planets were burned, space stations shattered, and billions died on both sides. But by the time the human soldier Marcus Hale stood on the war-torn plains of Vadres IV, the war had finally reached its breaking point. Vadres IV was the jewel of the Zerathi, its central breeding world, where their queen resided. Command believed that if the queen was captured or killed, the swarm would collapse into chaos. Every general knew it. Destroy the queen and the war would end. But Marcus had seen enough war to question easy answers. He had been deployed in countless campaigns, survived orbital bombardments, lost comrades to the insectoid legions. Yet he had also seen moments that challenged the black and white story commanders fed him. Civilians hiding from their own empire soldiers, smaller drones acting more out of fear than bloodlust. War painted enemies as monsters, but Marcus understood that even monsters bled, and even conquerors could feel fear. When the final human assault broke through the outer defenses of Vadres IV, the Zerathi collapsed faster than anyone had expected. The hive guards, towering armored beasts with chitin thicker than tanks, abandoned their posts once the outer trenches failed. Whole legions of drones scattered into the caverns, wings tearing the skies as they fled. And in the heart of the cavern palace, Marcus found her, the alien queen. She was nothing like he imagined. Taller than any human, her body was an elegant lattice of bioluminescent carapace. Her thorax crowned with translucent ridges that pulsed faintly with light. Her multifaceted eyes glowed faint blue, filled not with rage, but with something that startled him, terror. Around her, the cavern echoed with emptiness. Her guards had fled. The chamber that should have been bristling with protection was abandoned. She was alone. Marcus leveled his plasma rifle. All it would take was one shot, one burst of energy, and the war would end. Humanity would call him a hero. But her eyes fixed on him, and she did not move. She didn't attack, didn't even raise her claws in defense. Instead, her mandibles clicked softly, and through the translator hanging at Marcus's belt, a voice emerged, halting but clear. Do what they demand of you, human. Me. It is what all expect. Marcus's finger hovered on the trigger, but something inside him faltered. The stories had always painted her as a tyrant, commanding endless waves of soldiers, bent on eradicating humanity. Yet here she was, abandoned, trembling, more prisoner of her fate than ruler of her empire. Instead of firing, Marcus lowered the weapon. Not today, he muttered. Middle. The cavern shook as distant bombardments rattled the planet's crust. The human fleets were still raining fire on fleeing Zerathi ships. Soon, soldiers would storm this chamber. If they found the queen, she would be executed on sight. Marcus turned back to her. Your guards left you. Why? He asked. Her antennae lowered in something almost like shame. They do not fight for me. They fight because they are bound. Once they sensed defeat, instinct overtook loyalty. The hive does not protect a fallen queen. Her translator struggled with the nuances of her alien language, but Marcus understood. Her empire was built on fear, and when that fear cracked, loyalty shattered. He glanced toward the tunnels. He could already hear human squads breaching the lower levels. If they find you, they'll kill you, Marcus said. Then let them, she replied. Without me, they will scatter. Without me, humanity will win. This is what you came for, soldier. Marcus hesitated. He thought of the millions who had died, the friends he had buried, the cities reduced to ash. Victory seemed so close. And yet, looking at her, he couldn't ignore what his instincts told him. This wasn't a tyrant commanding armies with joy. This was a prisoner of her own empire's nature. He made a choice. Get up, Marcus said. We're leaving. Her mandibles clicked in disbelief. You would protect me. Yeah. Someone has to. They moved through the tunnels, Marcus keeping his rifle ready. The queen struggled to walk. Her body was designed for ceremonial chambers and controlled environments, not desperate flight. Still, she followed him, her faint bioluminescence casting eerie shadows on the stone walls. They passed corpses, both human and Zerathi. The smell of plasma burns and scorched chitin filled the air. Every step reminded Marcus of the risk. If any squad found them, he'd be branded a traitor for protecting her. As they crept through the tunnels, the queen spoke again. Human soldier, why betray your own? Why deny them victory? Marcus didn't answer immediately. He thought of his sister, who had died when a Zerathi fleet scorched the colony she lived on. He thought of the hollow speeches from commanders promising revenge, glory, and justice. Finally, he said, because maybe victory isn't worth it if we lose the last piece of our humanity on the way. The queen was silent for a long while. At last she said, You think me a monster. Perhaps I am. Yet in you, I see something my kind has forgotten. Mercy. They reached an abandoned ventilation shaft leading to the surface. Marcus boosted her through, ignoring the ache in his arms. The planet's skies burned with fire from the orbital battle overhead. Ships fell like meteors. Explosions rippled across the plains. They moved into the charred forest, using smoke and debris as cover. Distantly, Marcus could hear human dropships landing. Troops were spreading across the planet like fire. 4 days, Marcus guided the queen through ruined landscapes. He scavenged rations from abandoned supply crates, rigged makeshift shelters in caves, and treated wounds when shrapnel cut across her carapace. Despite her alien form, she showed gratitude in small ways, lowering her antennae respectfully when he handed her food, soft clicks of her mandibles that the translator didn't interpret but Marcus came to understand as quiet thanks. And slowly, conversation grew between them. She told him her name, untranslatable in human tongue, but close enough to Aelith. She spoke of how the Zerathi queens were not chosen, but born into their role, chained by instinct and biology to rule, to command, to produce heirs. She confessed she had never wanted endless war, but that her kind could not resist their expansionist drive. Marcus told her of Earth's oceans, of music and laughter, of simple nights under stars without the sound of bombardment. She listened in silence, as though every word was a glimpse into a world she could never have imagined. Through it all, Marcus kept his weapon close, not for her, but for the soldiers hunting them both. The turning point. It was on the 5th night, under the shattered remains of Vadri's moons, that Marcus's luck ended. A squad of human soldiers found their camp. The beams of their rifles lit up the forest, voices barking commands.